What is good, everybody? Welcome back to Real Fan Sports. My name is Zach. I'm here with my partner, Nonpfixion. What's good with you, brother?
I'm doing well, man. My friend, how are you doing?
I'm doing phenomenal, and I'm doing extra phenomenal because we're checking out some Formula One. We finally watched the Las Vegas Grand Prix, our first ever Formula One race. It was all right, you know, like wasn't super crazy. Not too much chaos happened, but Verstappen got the little championship thing. You know, it was a fun race. But what we're gonna do today is we're going to check out the entire history of Formula One. I guess. I don't know what that means, but that's what we're doing. So let's do it.
It's 1894, and the first ever motor race has just been held from the French capital of Paris to one of its neighbouring cities, Rouen. Let's up a championship, said absolutely no one, who raced for another 56 years before finally setting up Formula One. A championship like no other, with fierce competition amongst the world's elite drivers and constructors. This isn't what it looked like though, because unlike today, the sport first started with small privately owned teams who produced cars with little regard for aerodynamics or human safety. Mechanical problems were common, and most accidents were fatal.
You know, it's funny, it looks like derby cars that or not cars, but like derby little things you'd make like when you're in Boy Scouts and stuff like that. You have going down the hill.
In fact, at any point your car could suddenly break down, sending you to an inevitable death.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Surely no one's going to want to join this. Wow, it seems like people really do. And despite the prospect...
I mean, if there's one thing with the history of mankind, going fast and doing something reckless is always fun, you know? So, you know.
Basically.
Of imminent death, the Formula One train was full steam ahead. A governing body was set up, now called the FIA, and 81 drivers decided to race in 1950, including this man, the first ever world champion, Nino Farina, an Italian driver driving for an Italian team. But it's not Ferrari. Although it may seem crazy today, Alfa Romeo dominated the first era of Formula One alongside Ferrari. They drove pre-war car designs with an engine in front of the driver and ran on a budget so small it would give Christian Horner an aneurysm. This Formula One thing is getting kind of boring, said the FIA, who introduced new regulations in 1954, which hurt the leading constructors and saw the rise of a new team from way over in Germany, who wear lederhosen and eat sausage. And who are not really best friends with right now. The team was called Mercedes, who would go on to dominate 2 championships with Argentine Juan Manuel Fangio at the helm, before their run of success was put to a dramatic halt after the team's involvement in the deadliest motorsport crash in history.
Oh wow.
The 1955 Le Mans disaster saw the deaths of 84 people, including Mercedes driver Pierre Levey. And although no one was to blame for the crash, Mercedes withdrew from motorsport entirely for 34 years.
Wow. Yeah, I mean...
Moving on.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would assume so, right? I mean, taking a break after something like that chaotic happening.
Yeah, that's 84. You lose a driver too. That's crazy. That's a lot of people, man.
You know, it's so crazy watching this. You know, just I guess the lack thereof of regard for safety, where it's just kind of like fast, and that was just kind of it. I mean, they were just in straight up T-shirts with a cap on their head. I'm not even sure what the cap's for. I think it's more so their hair doesn't start going crazy rather than actual protection of the head. You know, definitely an interesting turn from what it is now from then. Crazy.
Yeah, a big U-turn. Big U-turn.
Are you tired of your engine being in front of your car? Do you want a new design that gains you performance and championships? Well, try the new mid-engine design coming to a paddock near you. It's the late 1950s, and after the fall of Mercedes, Ferrari, and Alfa Romeo, Formula One is wide open for the taking. Oi, bruv! What's that? It's the UK, who love one thing more than tea and biscuits, and that's world domination. But this time in the motor racing world, through the development of mid-engine cars, which went on to wreck the pre-war designs used by Italian teams, leading to 5 new British world champions. Elsewhere, F1 has begun expanding overseas, with 4 new races in Canada, the USA, Mexico, and South Africa. These 2 have just set up their own private teams called McLaren and Williams, and Formula One constructors need more financial support than ever before.
Here comes the money!
Here we go! Money talk!
Here comes the money!
In the 1970s, Formula One started getting pretty expensive through endless crashes, regulation changes, and life insurance. But teams have just found a way around it by allowing brands to advertise their products during a race in exchange for a fee. And they would start to advertise anything that paid well. Condoms, cigarettes, musicians. And even today, sponsorship still remains a huge part of the sport, to the point where it looks like 6ix9ine just shapeshift.
The slightly older car is the same design that Transformers used to make their Transformer race cars. Like
really?
The
old school ones?
Design.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
The new
paused on
RB19
this guy.
chassis.
Why is he here?
This racing thing's pretty cool, said Hotshot's Nicky Lauda and James Hunt, becoming the two faces of the sport in the mid-1970s. Lauda, the face of professionalism and hard work, and Hunt, the face of cigarettes, champagne, and models.
Man, that dude was living his life back then, bro. He was the coolest man in town.
He was living it up for real.
Champagne, cigs, and models. Yep, that was the dream.
He was a bit of a
back
legend.
then.
The two would give fans the closest title fight yet in 1976, with Lauda and Ferrari putting up a dramatic title defense against Hunt and McLaren. Despite Lauda almost dying in a crash at the Nürburgring, the championship went down to the last race at the Japanese Grand Prix, with Hunt clinching his first and only title in the dying laps of the race.
Our new world champion, James Hunt, by just one single point.
It's the late 1970s now, and being a constructor sucks for a lot of reasons. Formula 1 is racing in over 5 different continents, which is barely feasible for private teams. Each track controls the advertising and prize money of their individual Grand Prix, and the sport's governing body, the FISA, dictate all the rules, regulations, and commercial rights. I know what to do, said Bernie Eccleston, forming the Formula 1 Constructors Association, which leveled the playing field going into the ground effect era, which was an era of huge change in Formula 1. New technology has been introduced with the use of side pods. A Brazilian called Nelson Piquet is winning championships in both motor racing and Muay Thai kickboxing, and there are a couple of rookies in town who can only be described with one word: greatness. Who are these guys? Alain Prost and Ayrton Senna, who started their rise in Formula 1 during the mid-1980s. Prost was simply sensational, winning the 1985 and 1986 championships with McLaren, and Senna had a driving style so mesmerizing that it actually made you forget that he was in a relationship with a 15-year-old at the time. McLaren believed that.
What? This is the second F1 video that we've had where one of the races is pulling a Drake here, man. Like what's going on?
It's one of Obby's relatives right there.
These two would be a great pairing, which honestly makes you question what they were smoking out of the exhaust pipes. Because instead, it led to a fierce rivalry with 2 championships ending in dramatic fashion in Japan. I mean, seriously, what did they expect to happen? It's 1992, and Williams have just developed a technology called active suspension. Hey, why don't we use it to dominate the grid for 2 years? Said Williams, using it to dominate the grid for 2 years, which saw Nigel Mansell and Alain Prost win back-to-back championships with the team. Heading into the 1994 season, Formula 1 was set for one of its most exciting years yet. Ayrton Senna moved to Williams, replacing the retiring Prost. Newcomer Michael Schumacher was given a competitive car at Benetton, and Ferrari had hopes of a rebound year, with Gerhard Berger and Jean Alesi at the wheel. Oh boy, what an exciting year this will be.
Yikes.
Senna bateu forte.
The 1994 San Marino Grand Prix to this day remains the most devastating weekend of Formula 1's history, with 2 fatalities in 2 days. A crash at Villeneuve during qualifying saw the death of Roland Ratzenberger, and on lap 7 of the race, 3-time world champion Ayrton Senna experienced a steering column failure at a speed of 192 miles an hour, which saw the Brazilian have a fatal crash at the Tamburello corner. This would prove to be a serious wake-up call to the FIA, who believed that F1 cars were inherently safe despite the dramatic speed increase over the previous 8 years. And after the crash, many of the Williams personnel...
No, you feel like you would, any organization would, like, kind of figure that. It's like, it's not like this is just like a new concept, like, oh, faster, stronger, whatever. More safety needs to be added, you know?
When they talked about the invention of that new suspension, to me, because when you lower your suspension, you get lower to the ground, you create less resistance, you're going to get faster. So it's like that should have been an opportunity for them to say, we need to come up with more safety regulations for the cars.
Yeah.
That should have been the moment, you know?
Should have been right. As soon as it gets faster, the next thing needs to be asked, okay, are we safe enough? Yeah.
Yeah. Just focus on the fast cars and the money that was coming in through advertisement dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Were investigated due to the belief that it was a mechanical failure that caused the crash. Let's get back to the racing now, because 1994, despite being overshadowed by the deaths of Ratzenberger and Senna, still had one of the closest title fights ever between Michael Schumacher and Damon Hill. The two drivers were split by nothing the whole season and arrived at the final race in Australia just 1 point apart. And this race would see the third controversial ending to a championship in just 5 years, when the two made contact in a crash that was potentially caused by Schumacher, knowing full well it would lead to his first world title. Despite all the controversy around it, no action was taken against Schumacher, and he would never try any antics like this ever again.
Psych? Is that a psych moment?
Until do they think so? Do they believe that he did that on purpose so the dude wouldn't get in front of him?
Yeah,
he had the 1 point.
That's basically what they're saying. They're like, yeah, take him out. You know,
yeah, he has a 1 point lead. He takes him out. He keeps that 1 point lead. He wins regardless if he wins the race.
That sounds like that's what happened. That's dirty, man.
Yeah, interesting.
And then, like I say, it'll never happen again until 1997.
Until 3 years later, when he did the same thing to Jacques Villeneuve, got disqualified from the 1997 championship, and was publicly ridiculed by the mainstream media.
Yeah, he definitely. Let me just hit you real quick.
I'm actually so surprised we didn't hear anything about this in our recent Schumacher video. No one talked about that in the comments. Yeah, that's interesting. Normally, comment section loves to talk about controversies.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy 2000!
And the world didn't
2000.
end.
A new millennium and a new era in Formula 1. The World Championship is in the hands of McLaren and Mika Häkkinen. Michael Schumacher is hunting his first title for Ferrari and third as a driver. And Formula 1 cars have a new soundtrack through the introduction of V10 engines. At this point, no driver had won more than 2 titles in a row for over 4 decades. But Ferrari and Schumacher were about to change that, winning 5 championships in a row, including 2 title battles with Mika Häkkinen and Kimi Räikkönen, and 3 years of complete supremacy. Like in 2002, where Ferrari finished the season with the same amount of points as every other team in the championship combined. Knock knock, who's there? It's an energy drink company who have just bought out Jaguar and joined the Formula 1 grid.
There we go.
Elsewhere, Renault have a superstar in their hands, Fernando Alonso, a 22-year-old Spaniard who pulls off moves which defy the laws of physics and is ready to end Ferrari's run of 5 consecutive titles by becoming the youngest ever double world champion.
His reflexes are crazy. The way he did that move right there.
Oh, that was insane. Yeah, that was insane. I'm glad we know that he definitely doesn't practice his dance moves. He only practices driving. Because I've never seen anybody go up to the club and hit one of these. Next time I go out, that's what I'm doing, bro. I'm a dance circle comes around. I look like I'm hunting a prey. Like I don't know what's going on.
I want to be great again, said McLaren, who went into the 2007 season with an all-new driver lineup and a brand new plan that would bring them championship success. The plan involved signing the defending champion Alonso and an inexperienced rookie to ensure no competition in the team.
Hey.
What's the worst that could happen? So yeah, it turns out McLaren made a very slight error which faltered their master plan. Because instead of signing an inexperienced rookie, they signed Lewis Hamilton, who raced like a veteran from the start, sparking a number of debates and controversies at McLaren over the season, like Spygate, when the team was fined £100 million for being in possession of confidential Ferrari documents. Ironically, it was Ferrari who went on to win that season with Kimi Räikkönen, although Hamilton would eventually win out the next year with an overtake at the last corner of the final race.
Being able to have something to always protect myself with this Berna allows me to have that peace of mind no matter where we're really at.
2009, a year which shaped the landscape of Formula 1 with a new regulation change by the FIA. used the regulations to produce a dominant car. And that's exactly what Brawn did to perfection, which allowed them to bring title success to Jenson Button before the 3 teams with bigger budgets could catch up for the next season. It's a bird, it's a plane. No, it's Sebastian Vettel, who Red Bull gave wings in the early 2010s, which allowed the German to win 4 consecutive world titles, including 2 extremely close championship battles and 2 years of record-breaking dominance. Going into the turbo hybrid era, Prime Vettel was simply unstoppable. But the introduction of V6 hybrid power units led to a new era of dominance in Formula 1 when a constructor returned after 55 years. Boom, boom, boom. Mercedes were back with a vengeance, producing a car with supreme aerodynamics and phenomenal engine power, which blew out all competition for several years. Although, this meant that a conflict started between their drivers, Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg, in a rivalry coined the Silver War, which saw the 2 trade championships and dominated.
Now I understand. The more and more we're learning about F1, the more and more I'm learning about why the jokes come about with Hamilton.
Yeah,
you know, figure it out more and more. It doesn't take much. I know we had a comment recently that was like, you know, people like to just get on him. They're like, he's really not a bad dude and all that stuff. And like, yeah, very well, I'm sure he isn't. But I see where the trash talking comes from. And
I mean, yes and no, because I think, like the guy said, they brought him in to be the rookie, which to not win, basically.
Yeah,
he ends up being much better, and it's like now I got to take a back seat to a dude I'm actually better. I might be better than.
Yeah, it's like, why would you? Right? No, like what, you can't be mad at him because he's like, nah, man, I might be the rookie, but I know how to drive. Like, why would you just be like, oh, yeah, I'm just gonna not perform? I wouldn't either.
Dominate the grid for 3 years before Rosberg's retirement in 2016. What happens next? Lewis Hamilton goes on to win 4 more titles, and the team dominate the competition until the final year of the turbo hybrid era. In 2021, Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton underwent one of the closest and most grueling championship battles in history. They were split by almost nothing the entire season. Some days Verstappen was ahead, some days Hamilton was ahead, some days they were side by side, and on one occasion, they were on top of each other. It was kind of hot. The championship went down to the wire, with several crashes and controversies leading up to the 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, where Max Verstappen converted pole into race victory to win his first world title, in a race that was straightforward, not controversial in the slightest, and didn't cause the complete irreparable destruction of Formula 1 social media. On a completely unrelated note, there was a change in F1's race directors going into the next season, which saw new regulations and another record be broken after Max Verstappen won 15 races in a single season to take his 2nd title. And that pretty much brings us up to today. Have I covered every single driver and big event in Formula 1's history? No, but I tried. Shout out to Bill Wirtz, and
I'm about to cash a 50.
Good blows it up again.
Good video. Good video.
Actually, yeah. I mean, I know he says I guess, and I think the I guess is because he didn't cover every champion. I think he covered the ones that are discussed the most.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you a good idea of telling of like how the sport's evolved a bit. You know, how the rivalries have changed. You know, with some of the controversy. You know, at least you know what it is. You don't necessarily know all the details, but I enjoyed this, man. This was a damn good video.
I think it's well done, well put together. Great footage, great video. I mean, explanatory, made sense, understandable. I like it. I give it an A+.
Yeah. So if y'all want to go check it out, original link will be down below in the comments. Roman Hill is the person who created this video. If y'all want to go check him out, y'all definitely go do that. For us,
good job,
appreciate
Roman.
you guys. Love you guys. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Help us get to 25K. Catch you on the next one. Cheers.
Share the video. Peace.
Peace out.